Hello and welcome back to our shared space here on YouTube called Natural Connection with the Shaman. I'm your host, Shaman Odin Greywolf, and today we are going to talk about the 20th Goetia Purson, Purson. So, before we get started, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. If you're a new viewer, hit subscribe and that notification bell to be notified when I upload future videos. All right, so let's get into this. Pursan, the 20th Goetia. Pursan sigil. Let's see, I have some cards of Pursan as well. Pursan sigil looks like a little man, and once you hear his description, you'll understand. To me, it looks like a little man riding on a bear with trumpets in front of him, or a pitchfork, is what they say. But Pursan is a great king. A king is someone who leads the military, administers justice, manages civil affairs like tax collections in order to maintain control and prosperity in ancient times. That's how a king's role was. Nowadays, it's more of a ceremonial role, and like the head of a state. But Pursan was created in alchemical times, which was ancient times. So, Pursan is associated with wealth, fortune telling, and divine wisdom, and is seen as a man with the lion's face, which represents individual ascension and enlightenment, as well as protector of alchemical secrets. And solar gold, the planet sun and the metal gold. Pursan carries a viper in his hands, which stands for wisdom, protection, rebirth, balance, and healing. And he is seen as riding on a bear, symbolizing bravery and the physical body as well as its needs, earth element. Pursan is said to have many sounding trumpets going before him, which to me sounds like an arrival of royalty, or could possibly be announcement of hidden things and treasures, as he is known for telling truths of all things, present, past, and to come. I'm going to stop right there. These truths that come this week with the energy of Pursan. It has been known that sometimes people cannot bear the truths, but yet they are the truths. So although the truth is usually not favorable to all outcomes, it is needed to realign our egos, to check our egos, basically. So this week, it's about discovering hidden truths in the folds of your own mind, okay? So this means you're facing your own truths, okay? Pursan is going to be like the representation of an etherical king. So you're going to be protected as you speak your truths, right? Face your truths so that you can see the hidden gems and treasures of wisdom that were underlining things that you may not want to face, right? So as the old saying goes, and the truth shall set you free. So let's continue. This tells me that divination this week will be revealing discoveries in whatever area we seek. So in other words, if you're pulling tarot, you're going to find deeper hidden truths and treasures, secrets that will come up. You could use divination as your own reflection tool, right? Fun thing I like to do sometimes, it's been a while, but I used to do it, is I would take an old journal of mine, open it up to just a random section, no meaning or rhyme or reason. Just open up to a random section. Read the entry log for that day, then pull some tarot or runes or seek astrology on how to interpret what I had wrote. This way you can find true secrets within there. Because if you're a tarot reader yourself, you would know the cards don't lie. They have no reason to. There's nothing for the cards to hide. Okay, Pursan can bring spiritual allies in physical, meaning people, insects, or animals, birds included, or spiritual form, meaning any kind of spiritual ally that we call familiars. These spiritual beings bring answers from any area, any secret area on earth, meaning anything that's hidden from you. Call on your, like if you're a magician, a fetch spirit. Most of the times it works like this. Let's demystify this. Most of the time it works like this. Meditate. Call on a fetch spirit. What animal appears to you? Okay, I need you to find this. Right? The fetch spirit goes in the physical or the spiritual realm and finds the answer. Then, in the physical realm, whatever animal appeared to you in the spiritual will come to you at that moment. Those are the moments that you stop and look around. What are you doing? Is there any signs in the area? What time is it? What is going on right now? And look for the divination in all of the earth. You know, you don't always need divination tools to divinate. Look up at the sky, look at the clouds forming. When you see your fetch spirit return, look around. What's going on? Okay. Another way this can work. If you call on a familiar or a fetch spirit, and it is a humanoid type being, right? You ask the humanoid what you want to find, and then in the physical world, someone you know will reveal that information, even though they have no clue that you asked a familiar spirit to bring you this information. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever you want to, whatever you want to find, you know, you ask your familiar spirit, and then somebody will just come up and within their daily conversation with you, they'll tell all these secrets that you asked your familiar to bring you. These secrets are not for you to use as, I mean, you could use them in all the negative, mal- malicious ways you want, but you know what? That all comes back to you. It's best to use these secrets as divine guidance to navigate your charts to a higher outcome. Okay? To bring answers from any secret area on earth or the divine realms. We call these spirits familiars. Pursan's alchemical process is calcination. This means breaking down a substance by heat or fire, which could represent breaking down whatever matter we are dealing with to its smallest form in order to see the wisdom and being protected by the divine as you do so, bringing matters to the king to be resolved. So that's how you can visualize this if you're doing a meditation. Call on Pursan in the divine third eye, the mind's eye. Meditate on it as you see Pursan appear, royal king, blowing the trumpets, lion face, riding a bear, holding a snake, right? You present Pursan with what you're dealing with. Now, this is where the truth comes, right? You will break down whatever you present. Remember, this is all within you. This is a portion of your consciousness, right? So you already know these answers, but most times people hide them under many layers of folds in the mind. So you present this portion of whatever situation you're dealing with today that is just causing you whatever, right? Then the divine realm unravels all the little secrets that you have overlying that situation and says, well, if you were honest about this, this, and this, this, and this, and this, you would have no situation, would you? And this is for your unfoldment to reveal what you're truly covering up so that you can just face it and get on with it, right? Where were we? Calcination, bringing matters to the king to be resolved. So as a visualization meditation, you can like visualize going to a king to present your case and then receiving the king's insight onto what you're bringing to the situation, right? That's a meditation practice. Okay. Purson's colors are yellow, which represent maturing and ripening of matter to illuminate the mind in preparation for final stages of great works, which means self-transformation as an eternal process for ascension and enlightenment. This this is what this means. By working our spirit to find the treasures in our life's journey, the wisdom of what we may not have noticed, admitting and refining truths we may have not faced. This is why Purson is known for brutal honesty. Purson's message this week is when we take any matter in our lives and break it down to smaller parts, we then can see more clearly the solutions, like them or not. Chances are, if you have a large problem in your life, you are the cause of it, and you got to admit it. You've got to admit it. You're the cause of your own largest problems. Admitting things is a first step to resolution and solutions, right? So when you start going, okay, where am I the cause of this problem? And you start breaking it down into smaller forms. How did this problem start? Well, let's think back. This is going into the past, right? Going into the past. This happened, right? Go to the present. Well, and now I do this. Think of the future. Well, if I keep doing this, this is going to happen in the future. So what back here in the past, what steps led to this? Break it down into very smaller groups. This way it's not a mountain, like a giant pimple needing to be popped. Instead, it's an area of smaller pimples that you might be able to apply ointment to and relieve them, right? So why are we dealing with this week? And I haven't done astrology, but I guarantee you today's astrology and this entire week's astrology goes exactly in line with these. We are trying to reach the higher consciousness. Now, ascension and enlightenment are an eternal process. Just like every week we do a Goetia to face smaller versions of what we may have in our unconscious mind so that it's not such a big problem, right? We're going through each shadow aspect of ourselves, understanding ourselves a little better, a little deeper, knowing, well, yeah, we are kind of the cause of our own problems, right? But saying, since we know that, we can now remedy these very easily, one thing at a time, right? So enlightenment is in, you're always going to find new things in life, okay? Even after this year and something is done, and we've went through the Goetia, within another year's time, you'll have all kinds of new shadow traits about yourself that if you just ignore them, they become these large problems, right? To where you have to have a roaring king come in to help you solve them. Or you can just simply go, it's been a year now. Maybe I could see what's going on. And then maybe it's not so long of work. Maybe it's not so much of a year's work to you. Maybe you can go, I remember that number 20 Purson and number 20 Pahalia helped me with this. So I'm going to go back and review that. Now, I want you to take notice of something. When you're working with the Goetia and the Notoria, you're not to reveal what the Notoria, how the Notoria comes into your world, because that is just for you. You can reveal and communicate about how the Goetia did, because that's how you overcome. That's how this process works. The angels are just for you. The Goetia, they are able to be shared because they are the watchers and teachers of hidden wisdom so that you can reach your higher consciousness. So getting into that, we're trying to reach the consciousness of Pahaliya, God the Redeemer. Pahaliya stands for redemption, for the mistakes we've made from being impulsive and from desire. This is about righting our wrongs rationally through study and reason. So it's a good time to go over your journal entries, or however, if you're a video logger, right? Go over your videos. Go over your social medias. Use rationality throughout your life. Look for patterns in your, I don't know, go back like 6 months if it's easier, in your social media feeds or in your video logs or in your journals if you journal, and look for patterns. What can those patterns teach you? How are you basically making decisions based on impulse and desire, where you could have not ran into so many problems had you been a little more rational? In other words, patient, right? Like we always say, or I always say, if you're ready to invest and you're super excited about it, don't. Make sure that investment is a logical and rational investment before you do. Because chances are, if you give yourself a week, if you're very impulsive and desirous of something, if you simply give yourself 1 week, you may have you might see that the investment you're going to invest in tanked, or you would have lost all your money, or some situation like that. So you're going to right your wrongs by rationality through study and reason, evaluating yourself. This is to realize and understand our works and only desire our highest self's divine accomplishments. In other words, granting us the power to find balance, experience joy, and find a spiritual path. You may find that knowing magic is a part of your spiritual path and understand the needs that are the root cause of addiction. So what is impulse and desire at together? Combined, they are addiction. Why do you have impulsive desires? Go back through your life, right? Be honest with yourself. Everyone that I have ever known that had addiction problems had a brutal core wound or truth or secret hidden within them that they were masking. So To understand impulsive, desirous addictions, we must face the truths, break that truth down into smaller versions, and take on one at a time and remedy them, healing the snake, the person snake staff, right? The bear, understanding the body and its physical needs, right? The lion, ascending above desirous needs of impulsive behavior and becoming wise. Also, the snake and the lion and the bear. Wisdom and being brave is the bear. Brave, it takes bravery to face your truths that are not favorable. Only an honest, brave person can face their own truths. Once you face those truths, it is easy to read anyone who is living against their truths. It becomes almost as if the more somebody suppresses the truth about themselves, the brighter the neon light flashing across their forehead is about that truth. You see impulsions in people, impulsive behavior, and it's like a light flashing the core root of that impulsive behavior. You see lies and distortions, and you see why it's flashing. When you can see those things, that means that you've done this work on yourself. And it's a good thing to continue to know this work about yourself, because you don't see people and judge them no longer for their flashing neon signs. You see the core issue of what happened to them. And if able, you're able to offer advice or help, or, to go a different path. Find your true spiritual path. Whatever it is, this is the messages I have for you this week from the Goetia Purson. So, if you're interested in working with the Notoria Angel sigils, this book is helpful. Okay. Oh, nope, wrong one. You see how I mark up my book with tabs and bookmarks, and just makes it helpful. This is Pahalia. Pahalia's invocation is the call of Psalms 119, verse 108. Accept, I beg you, the willing offerings of my mouth. Adonai, teach me your ordinances. This goes right along with the Goetia and the Notoria Pahalia. Your offerings of your mouth. You are calling out to Spirit to teach you the ordinances. In other words, help you discover a better way, right? And that is your divine right to. So, using magical practices or incantations to call on Spirit is still a spiritual path. So, that's what I have for you. And then what you will find is you may be guided to your spiritual path in life if you were at question of, well, what path is for me, right? Well, allow Spirit, Adonai, to show you. Appreciate the wonder of creation in the moment. Be more present, not impulsive, not chasing desires that never come, right? Or when they do, it's not enough. And understand your needs. that are the root cause of your addictions. So that's what I have for you today, and I hope this information finds you helpful. And good luck on your week working with Purson and Pachalia. All right. See you next week.